Hi there, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, I am Coach Theo. As an intentional living coach, I create space for women to get clear about what matters, reconnect with themselves, and make intentional choices about what comes next. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. So, what are we talking about this week? This week, I am focused on how many decisions we make without realizing there's a should attached to them. And what do I mean by that? I should be further along by now. I should be able to handle this. I should stay because I've already invested so much. I've been at this job for 5 years. I've invested so much. I've been in this relationship for so long. I've invested so much, right? I should say yes because they're counting on me. I should be grateful, so I shouldn't want anything different. And sometimes we've repeated those things for so long that we don't even recognize them as expectations anymore. They now sound like our truth. And so I will honestly tell you, I've been thinking about this because I've had moments when I've had to honestly ask myself, do I actually want this? Or have I decided this is what I am supposed to want because I've been doing it for so long, or I'm so good at doing it, or someone else expects me to do it? It really is a question that I've asked myself. And I will honestly tell you, it's not always an easy question to, first of all, ask yourself, but then to honestly evaluate and answer yourself, right? Because here's the thing, expectations don't only come from other people. In fact, I think most of the time, some of the strongest expectations that we are carrying are the ones that we've created for ourselves. They are the expectations that we have set for ourselves. They are the shoulds that we have told ourselves we should be doing. And it could be simply because we decided years ago what success was supposed to look like. And so for some people, success might look like climbing the career ladder, even if you're no longer feeling satisfied by that. I'm a witness. I've had a very successful career. I am very grateful for it. But there became a point where, although I was good at what I was doing and I was being promoted, there became a point where the work was not truly as satisfying as it was when I first started out in my career, right? So, but success was, hey, you're continuing to climb up this ladder, like you're being promoted. We began to identify with a title. So maybe you could relate to that. You decided years ago what success was supposed to look like. So it's hard for you to let go of that expectation. Or maybe you became the person everyone could depend on. And now You don't know how to stop being that person, because you are the person that everybody comes to. You are the person that everybody comes to help them solve problems, to help them, figure things out. And so now you don't know how to stop being that person. Or maybe you have been following a plan that made perfect sense for an earlier season of your life. But because we all change, we all evolve, we sometimes have to take a step back and think about whether or not the plan that made perfect sense 3 years ago or 5 years ago, does that plan still align with the season of life that you are in now? There's nothing wrong with expectations. Let me just say that. There's nothing wrong with expectations. Expectations gives us direction. Expectations often can reflect our values. They can even challenge us to grow. But every once in a while, we have to take a step back and we need to examine the expectations that we have for ourselves. Because there's a difference between choosing something intentionally and continuing to do something simply because you think you should. And so one way I believe we can begin to recognize the difference is by paying attention to the expectations that consistently leave us feeling disconnected or leave us feeling drained or leave us feeling exhausted. We need to take a step back and recognize and pay attention to those expectations, those should. And that doesn't mean that every uncomfortable feeling you have or every uncomfortable responsibility needs to go. It doesn't mean that everything that makes you feel uncomfortable or disconnected needs to go, but it needs to be examined and it needs to be evaluated. And it doesn't mean that every obligation is out of alignment with where you're at. But if you're feeling disconnected, if you're feeling drained, if you're feeling exhausted, you do need to examine it. And sometimes that simply means you ask yourself, is this something I'm still choosing to do because I want to do it? Or is this something I need to give myself permission to reevaluate, reexamine, reconsider if this is something I really want? Or is this something I'm doing because I believe I should still be doing it? What you may discover is that some expectations, they do still matter. There are some expectations that matter, that are aligned with where you are right now. But you may also discover that there are a few shoulds or expectations that no longer align with the person that you are now or the season that you are in right now in your life. And either way, there's value in knowing the difference. There's value in knowing whether or not it's a no longer or it still is. It's value in knowing whether or not an expectation still matters or if an expectation no longer matters to you. And if you've been trying to understand what feels out of sync in your life right now, my Which Alignment Path Are You On assessment gives you a place to begin exploring that. You can find the link in the description, and I will also put it in the comments. And it's at path.theodoratcarter.com if you just want to type it into your browser. But what I need you to do this week, and what I will be doing this week, is paying attention to when I hear myself saying or even thinking, I should. Because when I hear myself thinking or saying, I should, and when you hear yourself say, I should, or you think I should, and the easiest one is, I should be grateful, which means I should be grateful. We think because, there are certain things that we have that are going well, that we shouldn't want anything different. That's not the case. And so when you hear yourself saying, I should, or thinking I should, ask yourself where that should is coming from. Because you might learn something about yourself. And so, if anything that I said resonated with you, I encourage you to 1, take the assessment. 2, take some time really evaluating the expectations that you have set for yourself or that others have set for you. And remember, this week, if you find yourself saying, I should, ask yourself where that is coming from. So until next time, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.